So this is one of our achievements. So recently, our lab was cited as top ICS cybersecurity research team. So you can see India ka only team tha which was over here. You can see in the right side, COEC ATS lab visited in Mumbai, India. So India ka ek hi team tha, we were over there. And you can see all different companies over there, Clarity, Siemens, Dragos, all on these companies. So we have made our nation proud as well here, कि India से और मुंबई से एक्चुअली कॉलेज है जो which is over listed in top reported vulnerabilities over there. So before getting into this, just a warning slide over there, so that I can place it from my side. So I will just read it. During this session, we present different ways to attack IoT devices. This knowledge allows us to make the world a health or a safer place. We definitely expect you to use this knowledge for the best, which means making the world a better place. So when finding the vulnerability in an IoT devices, it must be reported to the respective vendor in an ethical manner. So we all know you all are pen testers, so there's no worry over there. But some students over there, कि आपको अगर कोई vulnerability मिलता है, तो first you report it ethically, वरना वो आपके ऊपर backfire हो सकता है. So this is just a warning. So something about COE where we work. So you can see यहाँ पे हमने थीम थोड़ा cyber physical system जैसा रखा है. So you might be knowing कि VJTI गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज है, बट सुन के लगा होगा कि बहुत पुराना कॉलेज होगा, बट समथिंग यस इट इज पुराना कॉलेज, बट आवर लैब इज समथिंग डिफरेंट. सो यू कैन सी हमने पूरा यहाँ पे साइबर फिजिकल सिस्टम का थीम रखा है. सो दिस लैब वाज स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय वर्ल्ड बैंक एंड बहुत सारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं. यहाँ पे हमारा इंडस्ट्री सपोर्ट भी है, सीमेंस, एमर्सन, एलएनटी, सिस्को, क्लैरिटी एंड स्नाइडर. यू कैन सी ओवर देयर सीमेंस का you can see the logo also over there, and currently Eton is also going to join us for AV security as well. So this is where we work. So you can see inside that we have supercomputer as well, where we work on AI solutions as well. So deep fake detection and everything. So we have patent in that thing also. So and if you guys are interested after this visit, so especially for students, if you require some internship or some experience, you can talk with us and you can come to our lab, visit our lab. So after my last talk at the THL, many students visited our lab and we are engaging with them. So if you are interested, you can also join. So as you can see, again with the LNT also we have our own automation solution over there. And this is where something we have the actual ICS like devices and everything, PLCs, SCADAs and everything. So we have made an entire testbed over there where we work with the actual ICS devices and we create a scenario and we also allow different companies to work with us. So here we not only work on simulation but actual devices, and it's like a privilege for me that I can actually pen test on these ICS devices, because usually these are very expensive to work with. And if you go in companies as well, so they will not allow you to directly break these devices or something, because this costs very a lot. So this is something which we work on. And this is something again the simulation where we simulation part where we also simulate different attacks as well. So we have created a full chain attack which we have demonstrated to different companies as well. And this is something very interesting. This is where I used to work during my MTech days. So this is my IoT security lab. So you can see that there are different devices, like this is one chip which for our oscilloscope and everything. So this is where we dissect the device and we work on hardware security, extract the firmware out of it and reverse the firmware, and find some binaries which we can reverse and find some vulnerabilities over there. So let us see the agenda over here. So we are going to start today. Enough with the introduction. So we are done with the introduction. We will go to the IoT attack surface. So first we will talk about device level. So inside device level, we will see exactly how firmware, what is firmware, and what are the attack surface for hardware, what is side channel. Then we will see wireless communication, supply chain, web interface, and then network communication. So we are going to like attack the entire network, like entire ecosystem. So that is today's agenda. So let's start this. So coming to the introduction, so Internet of Things, or you can say Internet of Things to be hacked, or Internet of Things where S is silent. So can anyone guess what is S over there? Yeah, so security is silent in Internet of Things. So the major problem over here is that all these Internet of Things at the end of the day are some kind of embedded device, right? So anyone from electronics background or EC background over here? Yeah, so it's good that everyone is from, yeah, you are from EC. Okay, yeah, nice. Something new. So I was from electronics background. So when I started, I wanted to get into IoT as well. So IoT security was something which I started into for my cyber career. So most of the smaller IoT devices suffer from limitations that affect security. So जितने जैसे मैंने बताया कि end of the day ये सारे embedded devices ही होते हैं, right? So इनमें बहुत सारा problems आते हैं कि like computers है इनके हमारे इसके जैसे हम इसमें ज़्यादा memory या ये सब ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकते. For example, if you talk about routers, okay, so routers में उसका क्या बोलो? It is never designed from security point of view. It is always designed from performance point of view. Even different IoT devices, crypto wallet is there, or even some garage door is there, or some smart switches over there, or smart bulb is over there. So security is never the concern for the you can say for the developers or the company. So only the thing is that they only want that our device should perform the best. So they have limited memory over there. They have processing capacity is low over there, and one of the biggest things is that power requirement. So it is less. Okay. So this becomes a direct threat to security, such as encryption. So because of all these limitations, they cannot like afford to put a high-end encryption over there. So only even if you use Wireshark in your local network, you can see if your router is if you go to the router's local host, you will see that everything is plain text. Even the passwords at max they are going to be base 64. So they don't use something better encryptions over there. So encryption deemed too expensive power-wise and therefore left out the design altogether. So that was what I am talking about. So जैसे ही गेट सिक्योर कर रहा है पूरे गार्डन को वैसे ही IoT सिक्योरिटी में सिक्योरिटी होता है. So some examples of Internet of Things. So you can like work on these devices after you are interested into Internet of Things and stuff. So smart things में हम बात कर सकते हैं smart homes, appliances, office के अंदर cities, grids, wearable items जैसे biomedical wearables, fitness bands हो गए everything. And when we talk about automotive, car sensors, autonomous driving, telemetry. So आपने anyone following Arun Mane over here? Yeah. So you might have seen his video recently कि जिस उसमें remote can उसने inject करके did the dial of service on a scooter. Yeah. So that is, and in energy industry, power generation, storage. So जैसे हमारे critical infrastructures हो गए. At the end of the day, again there are some kind of embedded systems only. So वहाँ पे अंदर जाएंगे तो they are also using PLCs, relays and everything which are which need some kind of configuration. So again, attack surface को मैं कुछ ऐसा define करूँगा कि जहाँ से user उसके साथ interact कर पाएगा. That is very basic attack vector जो हम उसको बोल सकते हैं. जहाँ से user interact कर पा रहा है वहाँ से attacker भी interact कर पाएगा, right? So that is something very basically we start. So it's a never-ending list. IoT devices और बढ़ते ही जा रहे हैं. जैसे in 2008, the number of connected devices surpassed the number of humans on the planet at 8 billion. So that was from Cisco's report. The number of IoT devices exceed 50 billion by 2020. So अभी तो 24 आ गया है after this COVID wave also शायद और connectivity ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है. Even in ICS also when we talk तो OT और OT मतलब operational technology and IT network usually ये दोनों isolated होता है. But after COVID क्या हुआ कि अगर अंदर कुछ maintenance वगैरह चाहिए, so they had made a path over there जो remote connection के लिए use हो सकता है. तो अगर उसके लिए use हो रहा है तो hackers are also exploiting those things. So such thing events are happening over there. So the security concern जब हम बात करते हैं traditionally, so we talk about CIA, right? So यहाँ पे जितने भी शायद So जितने भी यहाँ पे सब जॉब करने वाले obviously they might be knowing about CIA, but the students are for them. So traditionally we talk about confidentiality, integrity and availability. So जैसे अगर मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ तो मेरी बातें किसी और को अटैकर को समझे ना, और कोई आके बीच में इसको चेंज करे ना, या कोई आके इसको आपके पास आवाज ही ना आने दे. So that is a very basic definition how we can talk about. But when we talk about Internet of Things, so वो reverse हो जाता है, वो reverse जैसा. Okay. So first concern होता है availability का. So for example अगर मैं critical infrastructures की बात करूँ, तो अगर आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आना ही बंद हो जाए, so there is no point over there, right? लेकिन अंदर क्या सेंसर क्या डेटा भेज रहा है क्या नहीं भेज रहा है वो कंसर्न नहीं होता उनका, because that is nothing confidential होता है. बट अगर आप जैसे 2015 में जो यूक्रेन में अटैक हुआ था, ओके, so वहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डाउन हुआ था. Okay. So availability is a major concern over there, as it can also cause a life-threatening scenario as well. Critical infrastructures की बात करें तो वहाँ पे. So जब OT IoT की बात करते हैं तो it is reverse as traditionally. एक और एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं, जैसे एम्बेडेड मेडिकल डिवाइस हो गया which is connected via Bluetooth to the user's phone and thereby the internet. So the primary concern is availability, integrity and the confidentiality. At least data तो आना चाहिए. अभी वो कोई हैकर ये नहीं जानना चाहते कि उसका कितना भी नष्ट चल रहा है क्या चल रहा है, obviously, right? Yeah. Again, that is a very big question कि कैसे करते हैं, वो तो हमको इंडस्ट्री में जाके पता चलेगा. But still, I don't think यहाँ पे कुछ होता है ऐसा. Yeah.
So my question would be, these all equipments are HA and high availability is one thing, and second is you cannot afford downtime because your production is running on. So for example, in an energy generation plant, your PLCs will keep working. So any suggestion on how, like within 6 months or a 12 month period, you will be improving it? Like hardware को upgrade करना चाहिए, or else you will be focusing more on the policy side as a concern.
Yeah. So see, when we talk about OT side पे जो बात कर रहे हैं, so hardware को update करना वहाँ पे question आता ही नहीं है. Like वो लोग जब hardware purchase करते हैं तो they plan it for 10 to 20 years का time है. So they only work on the policies over there. So consultancy की बात से आए तो obviously there are some rules and regulations which you have to follow as well. कि आप उनको hardware upgradation का बता ही नहीं सकते, वो लोग मानेंगे नहीं. Even if you can give it as a checkpoint over there, so they will just see. But again, policies have to be strict. But in IoT we can work on, like अगर उसका कोई नया डिवाइस आता है, like some better update होता है, obviously we can go for that. या उसका वर्जन आता है, या for example routers की बात करें, अगर कोई vulnerability आ जाती है तो we can be aware about it and we can update that thing. But in ICS that things are not happening. So जैसे हमने बात किया था वो security concerns, so limited resources with power constraints often preventing security controls such as encryption. So जैसे routers का मैंने example दिया था, तो जैसे हमारा होता है out of sight and out of mind वाला situation होता है. जैसे router इसको लगा डाला तो लाइचिंग लगा, ऐसा हो जाता है. Okay, so we are never updating all those things. Even you might have heard about the Mirai botnet, how it started, right? So it was initially targeting the routers which had default credentials, admin 123, admin password. So ये इतना common हो गया था कि लोग change ही नहीं करते. Even if you go into your offices or some किसी घर पे जाओगे तो even now you can also log in into using default credentials. Yeah. So that is how this is serious concern is. But अभी मेरा इतना advanced हो गया कि it is now exploiting CVs as well. So it is using some different vulnerabilities which are existing inside the devices and वैसे right, और उसके अलग-अलग variants बनते ही जाए. So again, protocols have limitations including no encryption, no authentication, etc. तो again OT side में ये थोड़ा सा आ ही जाता है कि जैसे proprietary protocols होते हैं. So again there can be much proper solutions over there because सबका protocol अलग-अलग होना चाहिए. Because when we talk about some firewalls, so IT के कुछ ही protocols होते हैं, standard protocols होते हैं. So there are obviously tools for that. But when we talk about OT and everything, so there are very limited proprietary protocols are there. So tool बना के भी हर इतना open मिलता नहीं है. Okay. So this is something we will start about what are the different IoT attack surfaces. So over here we can see कि कोई भी IoT device होता है तो obviously first thing is one of them is the user interface, right? Then there are going to be some wireless communication happening over there, and then we can see there can be a firmware inside that जो उसका hardware software interaction कर रहा था, just like with फिर supply chain का हो जाता है, and then hardware. So first thing we are going to start with is the user interface, क्योंकि आप लोग शायद वहाँ से थोड़ा ज़्यादा friendly होंगे, right? So we can see first is the web interface. Again, when we talk about routers, एक web interface होता है जहाँ से you can configure it, right? So that can be an attack surface. Secondly, when we talk about smartwatches and all those things, so mobile application होते हैं, right? Or for security cameras as well, mobile applications होते हैं from where we can see and interact, configure our device. और जब अलग-अलग सॉफ्टवेयर की बात करें सीसीटीवी कैमरास के बारे में या आईसीएस के कुछ डिवाइसेस के बारे में, so there are Windows softwares which we use for configuration, right? तो वो सब एक another attack surface में हो सकता है. For example, thick lines, right? Thick line applications are softwares which we use on Windows or some for configuring the device. So this is something which comes under the user interface side. जब हम वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन की बात करते हैं, so there can be different protocols, वाईफाई हो गया, ZigBee हो गया, BLE हो गया. तो इसका स्मार्ट वॉच का एग्जांपल हो गया, इट यूजेस BLE, या ड्रोन्स के बारे में बात हो गया, इट इज यूजिंग डिफरेंट प्रोटोकॉल्स फॉर दैट, लाइक Mavlink हो गया. But Mavlink again, the protocol is again not secure. Okay, so again that is a very good research area if you are a student and if you want to get into it. So again, हार्डवेयर में जाते हैं. So hardware में again there are three things as an attacker we can see. So first thing is the serial interface. So serial interface, debug interface and ICs. So this is how it branches. Okay. So we can see over there serial interface, serial communication के लिए क्या क्या कर सकता है device. Okay. For serial communication purpose. So we can see there are different debugging ports or different serial interfaces available over there. UART, SPI and I2C. So we'll go into more there. First let us understand the attack surface over here. Then we talk about the debug interface. So there are different debug interfaces available, JTAG and SWD. So again, we will go into each every section in depth once we go into much more depth. And again, when we talk about ICs, तो कोई अगर आपका कोई PCB है, right? So for example, it is कोई drone है or something, okay? So it is going to show some sensitive information somewhere, right? Or it's capturing images and videos and everything. So कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा, right? So again, data acquisition is one of the important part as a hardware security research या as a forensic. Okay, कि हम data acquisition कैसे करें? अगर उसके अंदर data encrypted है, so how we can extract it? So there are different techniques. Either first आप लोग normally से dump कर सकते हैं, या forcefully dump करना है तो again there is chip off over there कि आप chip को निकाल ही दो, and then you can put it on some readers, specific readers, and then you can take the memory out of it. And again जब बात करें इतना इजी होता है क्या नहीं, अगेन देयर आर सम मिटिगेशंस पुट ओवर देयर, जिसके बारे में हम बात भी करेंगे ना अपकमिंग स्लाइड्स. फिर जब बात करते हैं फर्मवेयर के बारे में, तो हार्डवेयर सॉफ्टवेयर इंटरेक्शन के लिए फर्मवेयर यूजुअली होता है, या हम इसको एक काइंड ऑफ ब्रेन भी बोल सकते हैं, जिसके अंदर सारा तुम्हारा कोड लॉजिक होगा कि क्या एग्जैक्टली अंदर है. फॉर एग्जांपल राउटर्स की बात करें तो राउटर्स के फर्मवेयर के अंदर यू कैन सी देयर आर बाइनरीज ओवर देयर कि आपका वेब सर्वर कैसे होस्ट हो रहा है. सो ऑल दोस थिंग्स ओवर देयर, एंड वेब के पेजेस भी होते हैं ओवर देयर, एंड अगेन बिजी बॉक्स की लाइब्रेरीज होती है. यूजुअली क्या क्या कमांड्स हम राउटर्स के रूट शेल पे एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, ऑल दोस थिंग्स, एंड ऑल दीस बाइनरीज एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स हैव सम वर्जन ओवर देयर. या कोई हो सकता है फर्मवेयर के अंदर बैकडोर हो, या फर्मवेयर मॉडिफाई करके किसी ने डाला हो, या सप्लाई चेन में फर्मवेयर अगर टैम्पर कर दिया होगा, तो ऑल दोस थिंग्स भी सी ओवर देयर. जब बात करते हैं अगेन वी हैव कवर्ड द सप्लाई चेन एज वेल यहाँ पे. तो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट साइड चैनल, तो साइड चैनल का किसी को यहाँ पे आइडिया है? ये बता सकते हैं या
I want to respect to software, not on the IoT side.
yeah. You can
You bypass some of the processes to sites over there, not a direct attack.
yeah.
Wire or anything में होगा ना.
Example is looking at how password is being decrypted by looking at power usage of a particular module.
Yeah. So any other answer होगी? So they were right. So side channel basically अगर आपको एकदम लेमैन में बताऊं तो anything जो directly device को हम target करके नहीं कर रहे हैं. क्योंकि for example अगर if I'm typing on keyboard, okay, so अगर हर की का अलग अलग sound आ रहा है, okay, हर की का अलग अलग sound आ रहा है. So if I keep pressing, so I can predict कि क्या आवाज से कौन सा की दबाया गया, right? So that is an example of very basic side channel. या फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपका डिवाइस है, फॉर एग्जांपल आईसीस के बारे में बात करते हैं, सो अगर उसके अंदर कोई पासवर्ड चेक हो रहा है, ओके राइट, पासवर्ड चेक हो रहा है, तो इट इज गोइंग टू जब हर बार पासवर्ड चेक होने वाला है तो इट इज गोइंग टू शो सम काइंड ऑफ पावर कंजम्पशन. सो हो सकता है राइट पासवर्ड के लिए अलग टाइप का पावर कंजम्पशन देखा जाएगा, और रॉन्ग पासवर्ड के लिए अलग टाइप का पावर कंजम्पशन देखा जाएगा. सो दिस इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज पावर एनालिसिस, पावर साइड चैनल एनालिसिस. तो साइड चैनल में बहुत सारे अलग अलग होते हैं. इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक हम देखते हैं, साउंड में देखते हैं, पावर एनालिसिस करते हैं, and there are different more branches over there. So एकदम बेसिक में हम देखें तो मेरा डिवाइस है, तो उसके नॉर्मल ऑपरेशन में क्या क्या हो रहा है, एंड वो इंफॉर्मेशन क्या क्या आ रहा है, साइड इंफॉर्मेशन, और उससे मैं क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल सकता हूँ. दैट इज साइड चैनल एनालिसिस. So let us start with the first one, that is hardware serial interfaces. So I hope ये देख के शायद आप आपके घर के राउटर्स खोल सकते हो, और अगर आपके पास डिवाइसेस होंगे तो you can like it costs 150 rupees only. You can take the root cell access of your device. और अगर आपको मिल रहा है root cell access तो आप सीधा वेंडर को आप रिपोर्ट भी कर सकते हो, जैसे low hanging fruits बोल सकते हैं इसे हम. Okay. So a serial interface refers to a communication interface that transmits data as a sequence bits sent one after the other over a single wire channel. तो bitwise communication जहाँ पे भी हो रहा है, we will call it as a serial interface. Serial interfaces are used for various purposes, such as connecting devices, transmitting data between computers and peripherals, and for communication between microcontrollers and sensors. So एक इसका एग्जांपल ऐसे बता सकते हैं, जैसे अगर मेरा कोई IoT डिवाइस है, अगर वो बूट अप हो रहा है, if it wants to have a firmware और कुछ उसको image लेना है या some kind of encryption it wants to perform or some data it wants to take, तो वो किसी और IC से ले सकता है डेटा, उसका जो माइक्रोकंट्रोलर माइक्रोप्रोसेसर होगा जैसे होगा, सो वो वहां से जो डेटा आ रहा है, सो IC के IC टू IC कम्युनिकेशन होने वाला है वहां पे, राइट? सो यू कैन टारगेट सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। और अगर यहाँ पे आपके CTF खेलते हो, कितने लोग खेलते हैं आपके CTF? सो यहाँ पे बहुत बार एक बहुत कॉमन प्रॉब्लम आता है, CTF प्रॉब्लम आता है, जहाँ पे वो लोग बात करते हैं कि कोई आपको सीरियल कम्युनिकेशन का वो लोग ने बीच में डेटा करके दिया, यू हैव टू सी व्हाट एग्जैक्टली या सो वो फिर हम उसको अलग अलग टूल्स यूज करते हैं, जैसे लॉजिक एनालाइजर टूल्स ओवर देयर, सो उसके अंदर हम वो डालते हैं जो उसका टर्म था एंड वी पुट द प्रॉपर बॉर्डर रेट ओवर देयर एंड वी कैन सी एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वाज ट्रांसमिटेड। तो ये बहुत CTF में आजकल बहुत कॉमन हो गया दिस वन प्रॉब्लम। So there are several protocols used in embedded systems like UART हो गया, Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter, SPI के बारे में बात, Serial Peripheral Interface, and I2C which is integrated circuit. So we will only discuss about UART. So we will go into it. So अगर UART exploitation की बात करें, so there are some steps you have to follow over there. Okay. So first step always is to identify the UART headers or pins जो कि ICs पे होंगे तुम्हारे, जो तुम्हारे PCB पे होंगे। So UART का एक बहुत कॉमन आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऐसा है कि 4 पिन्स साथ में रहेंगे, ठीक है? ग्राउंड, VCC, RX, TX, तो ये 4 पिन्स हमेशा होंगे एंड समटाइम्स दिस पिन्स कैन बी एट 4 डिफरेंट लोकेशंस एज वेल, लेकिन उसको डीबगिंग देख के तुमको समझ जाएगा कि these are some kind of debugging pins over there. So first step is to identify कि UART पिन्स कहाँ पे है कि नहीं। तो अगर आपको 4 पिन मिल जाते हैं, अब इसमें से आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कौन सा ग्राउंड है, कौन सा VCC है, कौन सा RX है, कौन सा TX है, राइट? So second step is to identify ground and VCC pins using multimeter or using a data sheet. So for example, अगर ground pin तो बहुत identify इसी तरह identify हो जाएगा, multimeter ले लो, आपको कोई भी IC दिख रहा होगा जिसका नाम दिख रहा है या कोई भी आप तो उसके आप ground pin identify कर सकते हो by seeing the data sheet, and आप उसका फिर multimeter पे लगा connectivity test कर सकते हो कि वहाँ से ground है या नहीं. So that is how you can identify the ground pin over there. So after you identify the ground pin, you are identify the RX and TX pin using multimeter or data sheet or the JTAG. So JTAG is a device which is so ये तुम्हारा मैनुअल काम सारा कम कर देगा, okay? So you just have to identify the ground pin and बाकी सब आप लगा दोगे तो you will identify the RX TX pin for you, okay? So a very easy alternative of JTAG as it is very costly, so it costs around 20,000 rupees, okay? So you can program it in an Arduino as well. So you will get many libraries from GitHub, but उसका फिर speed का issues हो जाएगा over there. Okay, but JTAG is a very good alternative अगर आपका research lab है या आपका company you are interested into IoT security. So that is one of the must things which you can have, as JTAG not only supports UART but also support different protocols as well. Then once you have identified the all the pins ground, VCC, RX and TX, so connect the identified pins to a JTAG or USB to TTL. So USB to TTL बेसिकली एक ऐसा डिवाइस है जिसका मैं आपको फोटो दिखाता हूँ नेक्स्ट में, जहाँ पे हम एक एंड अपना पीसी पे लगाएंगे and all other ends are going to be to all the 4 pins. Okay, and JTAG again वही सेम काम करता है. Identify the baud rate, तो basically किस baud rate पे communication हो रहा है. So you can either brute force it, so there is a Python script as well, या तो common होता है 9600 या 11200 होता है. So all these different baud rates are over there and get the interactive serial console. So यहाँ से इसके बाद फाइंडिंग्स क्या होता है, तो UART पोर्ट एक्सपोजिंग सीरियल लॉग्स. तो जब भी आपका फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू हैव गॉट द एक्सेस ओवर देयर, सो आपका डिवाइस जब भी रिबूट होने वाला है, रिस्टार्ट होने वाला है, इट इज गोइंग टू सेंड सम सीरियल लॉग्स ओवर देयर. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हमारा जब विंडोज बूट होता है तो वी गेट सम टर्मिनल ओवर देयर एंड कुछ डेटा आता है. वैसे आप IoT डिवाइसेस की सीरियल लॉग्स देख सकते हो क्या क्या हो रहा है. तो समटाइम्स वहां पे हमको कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर का या बाइनरीज का सेंसिटिव इंफॉर्मेशन दिखने मिल जाता है, या कुछ पासवर्ड होगा जो वहां पे प्लेन टेक्स्ट में हमें दिख जाएगा. So यहाँ हो सकता है टेलनेट का पासवर्ड हो या समथिंग, कुछ तो ऐसे सेंसिटिव इंफॉर्मेशन ऑलवेज गेट लीक्ड ओवर देयर. So that is one thing. और second is getting root cell access. तुमको सीधा सीधा तुम्हारा root cell access मिल जाएगा.
But whatever attacks you're saying are made of physical access.
Yeah.
Right? How common is you get these kinds of access on a network level? Because getting physical access to a complete environment is a little bit more hard.
So this is from our hardware security point of view. So ये ज़्यादा उस अटैक में आता ही नहीं. So अगर this can be part of supply chain attack, यहाँ पे आपका डिवाइस किसी के हाथ में है, या अगर आप खुद सिक्योरिटी रिसर्च हो तो this is something where you can work on. क्योंकि अभी फोन टू कौन देखते हैं यहाँ पे, और सुना होगा फोन टू के बारे में. So आजकल वहाँ पे embedded devices भी हो जाते हैं, right? So this is the one first thing with what they do on routers. So उनको जो $20,000-$30,000 मिलता है, So the first thing they do, open up the router to get the root shell and they see what are the binaries over there. So उनका अगर कोई known binary होगा, उसका कोई existing CVEs है, so they start exploiting over there. So that is अगर मैं initial recon के लिए बोल सकता हूँ, for example मैं terror organization हूँ and मेरे को पता है इंडिया टेकिंग का ये XYZ मॉडल बहुत ज़्यादा यूज कर रहा है. So I will purchase that XYZ model. I will open that hardware, I will run the firmware, I will take the root shell access, I will learn about all the binaries inside it. I will develop and I will come to know that there is a vulnerability existing over there. I will write an exploit for it. Maybe a pre-auth RC I can get. और फिर मैं मेरा initial recon उधर से ही हो गया. Now I can do all the remote attacks over all the routers already. So you want to know how why this step is important so that we can do an initial recon and create an exploit, right? So we can see what are the binaries and use all those things. So जो मैंने USB to TTL के बारे में बात किया, that is first this is the device which is used. तो ये आप अभी भी अगर मार्केट में प्लानिटिंग में जाओगे तो आपको ये 150 रुपीस का मिल जाएगा इजीली. So you can use this for your starting baby steps into getting into IoT security. Again इसका जो महंगा वाला वर्जन है जो बाहर से आता है obviously इसके लिए महंगा है. So this is called as JTAG Beta. So इसमें प्रिंट्स होते हैं. इसका कैपेबिलिटी ये है कि this can perform brute force, right? अभी हमने सिर्फ बात किया था किसके बारे में, UART के बारे में. But there are different debugging interface as well. जैसे हमारा JTAG pins हो गए. तो जब अभी UART में तो 4 ही पिंस है, राइट? हो सकता है कोई और इंटरफेस हो जहाँ पे 4 से ज्यादा पिंस हो, राइट? कुछ इंटरफेस होते हैं इसमें 20 पिंस होते हैं, 21 पिंस होते हैं, 17 पिंस होते हैं. सो वैसे टाइम में हम मैनुअली तो मल्टीमीटर से सब करते नहीं बैठेंगे, राइट? सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी टफ एंड हेक्टिक टू आइडेंटिफाई द पिंस. So JTAG is something which has the capability of brute forcing this and it can identify the pins for you. So ये JTAG का फायदा होता है. So that is something. And again तो multimeter you all guys know. And तो जैसे बात किया था हमारा step 1 था कि we have to identify the UART pins, right? So this is a router which I opened like 1 year when I was in MTech. So I think 2022 में मैंने इसको खोला होगा. So you can see यहाँ पे I can see 4 pins were together. So जो मेरा step 1 था कि identify where are the 4 pins together. So ये बहुत एक बोल सकते हैं कि level 1 का एक हार्डवेयर है मतलब इस पर UART एक्सप्लोरेशन की सीधा मैंने इसको खोला, मेरे को सीधा दिख गया कि UART पिंस यहाँ पे, ओके? तो अब लकीली इसमें हेडर्स भी थे so that I can put my do the interaction over there. But sometimes सिर्फ वहाँ पे ऐसे polar hole वहाँ पे सिर्फ hole रहेगा, इसके थ्रू you can shoulder the headers over there and you can start interacting over there. तो मेल टू मेल वायर्स आते हैं या मेल टू फीमेल वायर्स आते हैं, यू कैन यूज दैट आल्सो ओवर हियर. फिर एक और चीज अगर अभी इस डायग्राम पे आई गए तो दिस इज द एसपी फ्लैश आईसी. तो इसके अंदर हमेशा तुम्हारा फर्मवेयर स्टोर होता है, ओके? सो यू कैन डायरेक्टली पुट द चिप ओवर हियर, यू कैन रीड द फर्मवेयर, यू कैन डंप द फर्मवेयर ओवर हियर. और अगर यहां से रीड करके भी होगा तो यू कैन डायरेक्टली चिप दिस ऑफ and then you can have something over there and you can read the firmware of it. So coming to your explanation, तो पहला step था कि identify the 4 pins over here. So I can see the 4 pins here. So अभी next what we have to do, we have to like identify the what are the pins. So मैंने पहले ground pin identify कर लिया. Now ground को मैंने यहाँ पे लगा दिया जो ground था and बाकी सारे pins मैं यहाँ पे लगा सकता हूँ to different channels. And यहाँ पे एक पिन होता है जिसको हमको खाली छोड़ना होता है, you can read the instruction why it is left open. तो basically वहाँ पे warning भी आता है कि वो पिन खाली छोड़ना है. And after that you can see कि once I put the connection over there, so फिर मैं उसका एक user interface खोलता हूँ. JTAG का जो baud rate that is 115200 and once I open the baud rate I can see the help command where I can see what are the different JTAG commands over there. So identify the JTAG pin outs, identify JTAG pin outs. So there are 2 different scans over there. Get device ID, test bypass. So what my aim is over here to UART commands का है. You to identify the UART pin out and another thing is to UART path through. मतलब कि मेरे को सीधा उसका root cell मिलने के लिए try करना चाहिए. So उसके पहले we are setting the voltage to 3.3. जो that is recommended over there. और कुछ से recommend करते हैं usually when we are interacting with IoT devices, so we are setting the voltage to 3.3 over there. And then I will put the command over there U, and then it will start brute forcing over there. अभी वो 4 ही चीजें तो उसको फट से मिल ही जाएगा उनके. तो वो baud rate को भी brute force करने लगता है जैसे अलग-अलग baud rates होते हैं. So next one. So यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं कि अलग-अलग उसको TXT RXT तो उसको मिल गया है, बट आगे वो अलग-अलग brute force इस पे जाएगा, baud rate पे जाएगा. अलग-अलग कोऑर्डिनेट पे जाएगा, देन यू कैन सी कि उसने हमको आइडेंटिफाई करके बता दिया कि 115200 हमारा कोऑर्डिनेट है करके. सो वो कुछ हेड्स मैचिंग वगैरह करता है, वंस इट गॉट उसको हेड्स मिल जाता है तो वो उसको बॉर्डर बता देता है। एंड देन वंस वी हैव गॉट द बॉर्डर ओवर देयर वी कैन यूज द पी कमांड टू पास थ्रू, एंड वंस वी हैव गॉट द पास थ्रू आई कैन सी ओवर हियर कि मेरे को पूरा उसका रूट फाइल सिस्टम मिल गया है डिवाइस। सो अब इसके अंदर मैं जा सकता हूं कि बाइनरी के अंदर आई कैन सी व्हाट इज द BusyBox वर्जन। सो BusyBox किसको पता है आप क्या? या मतलब एकदम बेसिक में अगर उसको बताएंगे तो उसके अंदर बस यही रहने वाले कुछ कमांड्स के डेफिनेशन होते हैं जो आप अपने रूट शेल में यूज कर सकते हो। फॉर एग्जांपल ls हो गया या अलग अलग चीजें होगी तो उसका अंदर वहां पे BusyBox के अंदर रहेगा, सो यू कैन यूज दैट इनटू योर रूट शेल ओवर देयर। सो इसका क्या होता है, इसका फायदा ऐसा अगर मेरे को ये मिल जाता है तो मैं उसमें बिन में जाके BusyBox का वर्जन देखूंगा कि कौन सा है, और अगर वो ओल्ड वर्जन यूज हो रहा है, अगर उसका एक्सिस्टिंग कोई सीवी है, ओके, अगर उसका एक्सिस्टिंग कोई एक्सप्लॉइट है, कैन डायरेक्टली टेक दैट फ्रॉम इंटरनेट एंड वी कैन स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन इट। या अलग अलग लाइब्रेरीज है जैसे ETC के अंदर कुछ पासवर्ड फाइल्स होते हैं, ओके, एंड इसके वेब के अंदर यहाँ पे www करके होगा, शायद इसमें नहीं है, ओके, तो उसके अंदर तुम्हें वेब के फाइल्स मिलते हैं, तुम्हारा वेब का जो जावास्क्रिप्ट पेज होगा, index.html होगा, जो भी उसका बैकएंड का फाइल्स होता है वो सब। Again, SBIN के अंदर all the binaries are over there which are responsible for HTTP server create करने के लिए। So again, उस binary के अंदर अगर मैं reversing करूँगा, I can get some more juicy information over there and I can write some exploits. So we will see that as well. So जो हमने अभी बात किया था जो UART exploitation के बारे में है, it seems very easy, but इसके कुछ CVs पे exist करते हैं। Like if you open your router, if you see the root shell, if you see the UART pins over there, and if you try to get the access from that, and if you are able to successfully get the root shell, you can tell to the vendors and they can fix it, okay. So fix में क्या करेंगे वो लोग, हार्डवेयर नेक्स्ट जब रिलीज होगा so they will put टेक केयर कि आगे ऐसा ना हो, okay. So अभी हमने देखा था कि UART सीधा सीधा मिल रहा है, बट कभी कभी है ना UARट में पासवर्ड्स होते हैं, okay. So सीधा सीधा एक्सेस नहीं मिलता है, you have to put the password over there and then only you are going to get the root shell root file system over there, okay. So these are okay. So जो मैंने पोन के बारे में तो पहली बात कर लिया। So जब पोन कॉम्पिटिशन होता है आई गेस, तो उसमें हमेशा UART एक्सप्लॉइटेशन से ही वो स्टार्ट करते हैं, जो रीजन मैंने उसको एक्सप्लेन किया था उसके बारे में, ओके। So जब डीबगिंग इंटरफेसेस के बारे में बात करें तो हमने जैसे UART के बारे में डिस्कस किया, so there are different debugging interface as well। तो JTAG पिंस हो जाते हैं, जैसे JTAG की बात करें तो JTAG पिंस हो जाते हैं। जैसे UART में स्टैंडर्ड था कि 4 पिन ही रहने वाले, राइट, बट JTAG में वैसा स्टैंडर्ड्स नहीं होता है। सो फ्रॉम सिक्योरिटी रिसर्चर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू तो ये सब तो PCB डिजाइनिंग की बात होगी, ये सब होगी, तो एज सिक्योरिटी रिसर्चर मेरा क्या इंटरेस्ट है इसमें, राइट। सो एज अ सिक्योरिटी रिसर्चर यूजिंग दिस JTAG पिंस आई कैन रीड एंड राइट फर्मवेयर over there, okay. So जो उसके अलग अलग मेमोरी एरियाज है, I can read over there and perform modification or modify the program flow to bypass functionality to gain restricted access। तो इसका एक स्टोरी तुमको एक बताता हूँ कि हम लोग जब छोटे थे या जब हम लोग थे तो हम we have seen different PCBs, right? So there are a single level PCB जिसके ऊपर there are direct ICs kept over there, but when we look at more like complex devices or complex PCBs, there are multi-layered PCBs as well। So initially for a very simple PCB, a debugger can directly a tester can directly test the ICs which is working, which is not working, but when we talk about multi-layer ICs, इसके अंदर multi-layer PCB boards where the ICs are sometimes inside or they are very small, how it is possible to check all these, like which one is working, which one is not working, right? So उसी के लिए debuggers ने invented something that is called as JTAG, joint action something in this full form is there, joint test action something these है। तो that is basically वहां से basically पूरे PCB पे एक कनेक्शन बना हुआ रहता है। So if I send a signal over there and जितने भी ICs के थ्रू वो सिग्नल पे जाएगा, okay, that connection is all over the ICs। So अगर मैं यहाँ से एक सिग्नल भेजता हूँ and it is breaking somewhere, so I can identify okay that IC is having some problem over there। So अभी as an hacker I can know that this JTAG is connected to all the ICs in my PCB, right? So that is something which as an hacker I want कि हाँ चलो इसके पास सारा access है, so I can perform a read or write over from that as well। So from security researchers as I said कि reading and writing flash, okay, तो flash के बारे में जैसे उसके अंदर firmware modification extraction कर सकते हैं। So IoT में या OT में सबसे बड़ा important thing जो researchers को चाहिए and which is the most highly like skill set required as well over there is firmware reversing। Okay, so firmware extraction से लेकर reversing के तक, क्योंकि when we talk about IoT जैसे routers की बात करें तो उसका vendor सीधा वेबसाइट पे उसका firmware दे देता है, okay। But when we talk about PLCs, RTUs, relays, जो OT devices हो गए या बहुत सारे अलग अलग हार्डवेयर डिवाइसेस, IoT डिवाइस हो गए, जैसे क्रिप्टो वॉलेट हो गया, ये सब चीजें हो गए, तो इनका फर्मवेयर हमें ऑनलाइन इंटरनेट पे नहीं मिलता. ओके, सो इनका फर्मवेयर एज सिक्योरिटी रिसर्चर आई हैव टू डंप आउट ऑफ द डिवाइस फॉर सिक्योरिटी रिसर्च. तो इसी के लिए ऑल दिस हार्डवेयर सिक्योरिटी स्किल्स आर रिक्वायर्ड कि मैं फर्मवेयर निकाल पाऊं, और अगर कोई दूसरा टीम होगा जो फर्मवेयर रिवर्सिंग करने वाला है, मैं उसको वो फर्मवेयर दे दूंगा. ओके, सो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ओवर देयर. And we will talk about RDP. So अब हम we were talking कि we are dumping out the firmware and ये सब वो सब. So it is that easy, you think? Companies are not thinking some mitigations on that. Yes, they are thinking some mitigations. So there is something called as read data protection. So this is something if this doesn't allow the device to get debugged. Okay. So there are 3 different levels for that. RDP level 1, 0, RDP level 1, and RDP level 2. RDP stands for read data protection. So in RDP level 0, there is no protection over there. Okay, so you can an attacker can directly connect to the debugger and he can dump the entire memory out of it. Okay, and then in RDP level 1, so the debugger can connect over there, but he can only perform some kind of memory, not all the memory, only some region is allowed to them. And when we talk about RDP level 2, so the entire debugging is not allowed over there. Okay. So in that case, even if there are debug pins and if we are trying to interact with it, we cannot interact because of this RDP. So that is something which I faced when I was doing reversing on a drone. Okay, so that is where I found that this RDP problem was over there. So what is the solution over there? We will see. So that is RDP bypass. So for that, we will first see about side channel analysis and attacks. So side channel analysis refers to a class of attacks in cryptography and computer security that focuses on exploiting information unintentionally leaked by a cryptographic device or system that various side channels. जैसे मैंने तुमको पहले एग्जांपल दिया था कि अगर कोई पासवर्ड के बारे में कोई पासवर्ड चेकिंग मेरा कोई सिस्टम है, राइट? सो अगर वो पासवर्ड हो सकता है कि वो रॉन्ग पासवर्ड के लिए कुछ अलग पावर कंजम्पशन देता होगा और राइट पासवर्ड के लिए कुछ अलग पावर कंजम्पशन देता होगा. सो आई कैन एनालाइज दिस पावर ट्रेसेस एंड आई कैन सी हां राइट पासवर्ड यहाँ पे है. ओके, सो दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच कॉल्ड एज पावर एनालिसिस. So these side channels are not part of the primary communication channel, but they inadvertently leak information about the system's internal operations. Side channel attacks can be used to extract secret keys, cryptographic algorithms, or sensitive information. जैसे मैंने एक बहुत basic सा I perform an operation over there. So for this side channel analysis, there's a device called as Chip Whisperer. How many of you have heard about it? Chip Whisperer. So to study side channel attacks, so there's one PhD researcher Colin. So I will recommend his book as well at the end. So his PhD project was that he wanted to make the side channel very easy. So all these are very complex because this requires IT knowledge as well as the hardware security knowledge. So he made a device which can interact with the which is like a single package where you can perform side channel analysis on devices. Okay, so उसमें से I used that and I on the target board. I created some machine learning algorithms over there. I gave him some testing data, and I took traces for different algorithms. So, for example, for KNN, it is going to perform some kind of similar power traces. For some other algorithm, it is going to have some similar power traces. Likewise, I created a machine learning algorithm which is going to differentiate. Okay, if this power trace I provide, it is going to say, okay, this was from KNN. If I provide this power trace, it is going to say this was from different power transmission. So just imagine the power of like side channel. So you can just from seeing the power traces, you can see a lot of information over there. So not only power analysis, there are different electromagnetic analysis as well, timing analysis. As हो सकता है कि if I'm putting wrong password, so वो एक key check करता हूँ, है ना? So for example, the password is password admin. So if I put A, it is right. If I put B, it is going to say wrong. So उतने में खत्म हो जाएगा. So that is it took some amount of time. But if I put A, D, M, it is going to take the right time. So that is how the timing analysis can be done over there. So fault injection attacks. So fault injection is something which I am going to talk for RDP bypass. So what is voltage glitching over there? So voltage fault injection is a powerful active side channel attack that modifies the execution flow of a device by creating disturbances on the power supply line. So the attacks typically aim at skipping security checks or generating side channel that gradually leaks sensitive information, including the firmware leaks. So for example, a nominal voltage है, normal आप देख रहे हो 1.2 पे constantly जा रहा है, ऊपर नीचे जा रहा है. But again, I can put some voltage glitches over there. I will put some glitch. So this is a over glitch. I can perform a glitch over here. so that I can make a hardware setup which is going to glitch at some particular time, and then that is going to change the performance, or it is going to change the flow of the program over there. So we'll see an example also. So for the explanation, I have made a very simple flow graph. So you can see this is the previous logic code, and here is the integer RDP which is set to level 2. So as we have talked about read data protection, this is set at the highest level. So there's a condition where there's a check where it is going to check is RDP is equal to 2. If it is yes, then do not allow any kind of memory read. If it's no, then allow some kind of memory read. So इधर मैं कहाँ पे glitch करूँगा कि कहाँ पे glitch ideally होना चाहिए कि it is going to bypass the check. Checking condition, right? So now let's perform voltage glitch. So he's performing the glitch over there, and then we can see once I perform the voltage glitch over there, so this check has been bypassed at that point, and then the flow is going to go into this direction. So this is how RDP is bypassed. So this is a very basic and for a very beginners in layman language, you can see what is the RDP and how RDP is bypassed and how we can perform use voltage glitch for bypassing the RDP. So this is how RDP is bypassed. So talking about firmware, so I think we are अभी हमको एक story जैसा हो गया. First we got the hardware, okay. We got the hardware. We wanted to we wanted to dump the firmware out of it. So we first used the root shell access. We got from UART we got the firmware, but there was some problem over there. There was some RDP over there. So I bypassed that as well, and now we have completed the hardware security part. I have got the firmware now. Okay. So now what can I do with the firmware? So firmware can be obtained from the vendor's website, dumped from the target device, or captured during over-the-air updates. Okay. So things to look in the firmware. So first thing is hard-coded credentials. So if there is some hard-coded credentials for some service, like for example telnet services over there, some remote services there which for hard-coded credentials, so firmware के अंदर पहले से written हो. So locate some executable files which can be reversed. Look for executable files versions for checking against any known vulnerabilities. Inside the executables or libraries, look for unsafe functions using disassemblers like either IDE or Binary, and look for some HTML, JavaScript or CGI files or config files, which we can again get some juicy information. So कितने लोग यहाँ पे reverse engineering कर चुके हैं बहुत basic for exploit development or some kind of thing. So you might be knowing कि strcpy is a very unsafe function, right? So it doesn't check कि कितना buffer में copy करना है या नहीं. So IoT में still these functions are used. So जो Windows का golden era था for hackers, जहाँ पे buffer overflows को ज़्यादा exploit किया जाता था, nowadays IoT को ज़्यादा buffer overflows exploit हो रहा है. So whenever you see some kind of pre-auth RC happening over there, so buffer overflow is always behind it. So that's how we can see the binaries, and we can look for some unsafe functions over there, and we can track exactly how the user can send some data, or the attacker can send some data, and how it is going to come to the unsafe function. So when we get the firmware, so first you have to analyze exactly what the firmware is. So जितने भी लोगों ने यहाँ पे CTF खेला होगा या forensic वाले होंगे, they might be knowing the tool Winbok, binary block, yeah. So that is something which can tell you the information, what kind of compression it was using, or what kind of file system inside it is, and then it also checks, gives you the entropy, so you can see that if the firmware is encrypted or not encrypted. And once we have using the command that is winbok -e and firmware, you can extract the firmware inside the directory, and you can get the root file system or the file system over there. And once the file system is there, you can get the whatever research you wanted to do on it. But again, this is going to be this easy. तो यहाँ पे भी कभी-कभी encryption आ जाता है firmware के ऊपर, या तो if there is some kind of encryption, then again we have to research it and how we can break that thing. Okay, so एक मैंने example दिखा था कि for example जैसे हम how many people know about P5s, executables, portable executables, yeah. So उसका हमेशा एक magic number होता है, किसी को पता है? MZ is the magic number which is inside P5s, right? तो similarly जब भी कोई encryption या कुछ ऐसा कुछ परफॉर्म किया गया है तो आगे और उसका हमेशा एक header file कुछ तो रहेगा जैसे, yeah. So we can search about that. And once we search on the header file, so in my case it was SHRS. So I started googling it. So I got to know that there are different libraries and how I can decrypt this as well. So otherwise you have to do the manual work. और कभी-कभी लकी होगा तो आपको सीधे से ऐसा मिल जाएगा. And after following that as well, you can decrypt the function and firmware, and you can get the entire file system over there. So once we have got the firmware, so we can look at the root file. We can look at the file system. So this is similar. हमको देखा है यहाँ पे हमने UART में कहीं दिखा था UART access मिलने के बाद, right? So once we have got that, we can analyze the binaries inside this. So this is some of the binaries, and here we can see this HTTPD. Okay, mini HTTPD. This is a very targeted binary क्योंकि ये क्या होता है वेब सर्वर होस्ट करने के लिए binary यूज हुआ जाता है वेब सर्वर को ये चालू करने के लिए. So अगर कोई भी यूजर होने वाला है, so it is going to interact from the web server, right? So कुछ भी डेटा अगर मेरे राउटर के पास आने वाला है, so कहाँ से आएगा? वेब सर्वर के थ्रू ज्यादा आ सकता है, right? So इसको बहुत ज्यादा एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाता है this HTTPD binary. So I can put that HTTPD binary inside the vgraph and I can look if it is using some unsafe functions over there. So here I can see कि execcv function use हो रहा था and then I can see exactly where it is used and I can see अगर यहाँ पे मैं arguments pass कर सकता हूँ कि इसको कुछ अगर मैं देख सकता हूँ if user can pass these arguments then I can write my exploit accordingly and I can write an exploit for it. So stop इसके आगे proceed नहीं जाते because this goes into exploit development and NDA research over there. So अगर किसी को interest है into NDA research, this is the way how you can do it. Okay, you have to get the binary, you have to look for unsafe functions, and you can again NDA or zero day research भी ऐसे होता है. You can look for some unsafe functions and you can see if user can pass the arguments over there and you can write an exploit for it. So that was the about firmware. Okay, firmware से हमने exploit बना लिया सब कर लिया ठीक है अभी इसका hardware firmware का story बंद कर देगा ठीक है. So now we can see about some HDR exploitation, software defined radio. So software defined radio is a versatile technology that allows attackers to intercept, decode and manipulate wireless signals, making it potential threat to IT wireless communication. जैसे हमारा हम MIT के लिए आप क्या यूज करते हो टूल काली का वायरशिप होगा और एक कुछ ऐसे डेटा कैप होता है और दोस्त के साथ होता है. सो वैसे ही अगर हमको IoT कुछ सिग्नल्स को इंटरसेप्ट करना है सो यहाँ पे तो कुछ कंप्यूटर वगैरह है जो भी जा रहा है हवा से जा रहा है obviously you can intercept those signals. So this is software defined radio can help us. So one of the most famous tools is called as HackerF1 और एक और इसका नया छोटा सा अल्टरनेट बना उसका मेरे को नाम याद नहीं आ रहा किसको याद है आपको Flipper 0. So again that is banned in Canada right? Okay, so again when you have to as a lab when we wanted to purchase this thing, so we had to take some approval from the college as well कि हम इसको purchase कर सकते हैं नहीं कर सकते. So once we got this, so HackerF1 has the capacity to read different signals at different frequencies and you can capture that signal. So यहाँ पे एक methodology होती है जो general process use करते हैं इसको बोलते हैं scrape. First search the signal, once you have found it, capture the signal. Once you have captured the signal, you can replay that signal or not. Once replay signal का अर्थ है कि मैं अगर भेज रहा हूँ, I'm sending that signal to device, if it is accepting or not. So वो source भी check कर रहा है कि नहीं, if that source is genuine source or not. Okay, so that is replay. यहाँ पे if you are able to capture the signal and replay the signal, then it is called a replay attack. Okay, which is very common. Next is analyze the signal. If you want to change the signal or you have to alter the signal or something. Then there is preview, you can view the signal, and last is execute the signal. So this is very useful in drone security or other things as well. So this is a very basic example. So where you can see the tools required for this is GQRS. This is the signal for receiving the signal. So you can receive the signal over here. So I will give you a very basic example over here, and another is a universal radio hacker which you can get in Kali. I think in Kali or some other tool, OS it is already installed and you can download it for Kali or Linux or Windows as well. So here we can see this is a waterfall diagram. Okay, this is a waterfall diagram and this is usually stable, but there are some noises as well in the environment. Right? There might be very much different signals over there. But how I will identify? For example, say here there was no peak over there, and if I press a button inside my target, whatever target is, for example, a drone's radio controller. So if I press a button. So it is going to send some signal and I can see there is going to be a spike at that signal. Okay. So this is the spike which I see. So I can narrow down my search and I can exactly see what was the exact frequency at which the the signal is sending over there. So I can see this is the waterfall diagram. I can see how much intensity it was having. So once I know what is the signal, then obviously I need the HackerF for this or any other SDR. Once I have know exactly what the signal is and how I can capture it. So for this demo, I took an example of wireless bell. So it was a very basic example. So here, what are the steps like how to capture and do the replay attack? So for capturing the signal, first step is to find the operating frequency of our wireless bell. So exactly at what frequency it is sending the signal. So that is the first step which we have to find. So what you can do, obviously, Google, you can search it on Google and you can see about frequency. Usually these works on a very common range, 315 megahertz. Once you have known the frequency, you can open your device, connect HackRF and run the software. You can do some basic configuration that I will set this to 315 and then click the frequency at 315 and then I will start the button. Once I have started clicking the wireless bell, I am going to see that I am going to get a spike over here at the 315. So that is how I am going to confirm that this is the frequency which I wanted to capture. So once I have captured the signal, I have to use another tool that is called as Universal Radio Hacker, which is going to, we are again going to set the same frequency which we have got, we have confirmed the frequency, and then we are going to capture the signal. So the Universal Radio Hacker is having the capability of capturing the signal as well. So once I have captured the signal, so you can see I have captured two signals over here. So first I press the button, one signal, and again I press the button and second signal. So I captured two signals over there. And now I can play with different values if I want to increase the gain and all these things. And once I have recorded the signal, I can analyze the signal and then I can replay it as well. So if I replay it, so it is going to send it to the device or the target and it is going to accept it. So again, this is what a replay attack. So again, you can see these attacks are happening and people are reporting these vulnerabilities over there. So you can see in 2017, the Hyundai model is, I guess last year only it is reported, authentication bypass by a replay attack. So an attacker can sit in your parking area and you are opening your car key and he is sitting with a laptop, he will capture the signal and once you are gone, he will open with the same key. So that is how the seriousness is there. So for this mitigation, which the car companies have done, is a golden key is over there. So the key is not going to be same always, it is going to have a repetitive pattern. But again, as you know, we can modify the data as well. So we can write a script as well, which is going to perform a similar kind of repetition, and we can add some brute forcing, we can block that car key as well. Okay, so that is how you can hijack a car using some 20,000, 40,000 device. That is why it is not easily available to purchase as well. And that was the reason why 000 was banned, because it can be used for such malicious things. So, but don't do this, you will end up in a jail. And next, so you might be knowing, you might have heard about the CAN injection remote on e-scooters. So EV is a very good research of area. So he's one of our mentors, Arun Mane. So last week only he came to our lab, and we are going to have some collaborative work with him as well for EV security and all those things. So I will just show this a video. So here we can see that an scooter is coming over here. So it's a good thing Udemy is coming for advertisement. At least a learning platform. So here we can see this from Amnesic Labs, and you can see a e-scooty is coming over there, and the video is recording. You can see a laptop is over there, and he is going to do some kind of remote injection over there to the e-scooter, and through a purpose blood. So you can see that after injection, the scooty is going to break from its own by its own. So you can see this is a kind of denial of service attack, right? So by sending some remote packets, I can directly jam the scooty. So again, I'm just reading about this as well, because this is a very good research. And for that also, I provided you the link as well for the link post, so you can follow this guy. So he's actually very much interested in EV security mostly. So that is something which I wanted to show you the impact of such kind of attacks. Again, when I talk about supply chain, so hardware trojan, this is again a very good area of research. Okay, so when Ecom visited, so a quick backstory about me. So after MTech, I got placed in Eton. So they were offering me about 17.5 GPA or some around that roughly. So, but I left that job for my PhD. Obviously, I have some good offer in my hand. So they came and they wanted me to research on hardware trojans. Okay, and again, this was something which I worked for my Smart India hackathon. So you can see over here, this is a very normal IC life cycle. We can see the CAD tool vendor, IP vendor is creating the CAD tools, IC design house, foundry, manufacturing, test and deployment. So there's a lot of big chain happening over here where the devices are going to be made. So attacker can be here as well. So insert hardware trojan in the IP by the IP writer. So who is going to develop the design or who is going to map the device can, if that person is malicious, the entire chain can be disturb. Insert hardware different design. So for example, when we are designing the PCB, obviously we are not directly printing it on the device. So it is implemented in a CAD tool, right? If the CAD tool of the person who is making the CAD design itself infects the PC inside the entire what we say the design. So again, that can be a supply chain problem over there. No one is going to know. Again, reverse engineering. Also, there are different more techniques where people are going to a very like microscopic level, and where they are going to insert some kind of disturbances, which is going again hampering the supply chain. So, if I see a very basic example over there, I can see here is a comparator, and some pressure, minimum and maximum pressure point is going to come. So, some value is going to come, and here is an OR gate. So, both inputs are going to come, and in case of a normal device, this input should directly go outside. But here I can see there's a mux. So, what mux does is that, so in normal operation, the pump control is going to come, and the pump control is going to be the output. But when the hardware trojan is going to change the select line via any mean, so if the temperature rises above this, you can change the select line. After this time, you can change the select line. Okay. So there are different parameters which can be as a select line, changing the select line. So once the select line has been changed, so the output is going to be the hardware trojan payload, and output is going to come to the pump control payload. So this is how supply chain is work and how malicious it is. We might be having so many devices, and that might be having hardware trojan. Okay, and we are not aware about it. Okay, so there have been any case that after 22 or 2025 the device will get activated. So such kind of things can also happen. That's why government is also very much interested into this area of field. But again, this is a very hard area to crack the supply chain, because this is mostly all the devices come from China and all those things. So again, this is a very major problem, like how we can tackle these things, because, and that's why good research is going inside this field. So again, here I can see. So you might be thinking like it might be so hard to insert the token. Literally, so like by inserting the marks, it is going to be a malicious thing. Similarly over here, if I just put an extra SOR gate, again this is going to hamper the output of my disk program. So that is the very basic supply chain. And so I think we are running out of time. I think it's getting long. So I think most of you are like pen testers and IT people. So network communication, we can see we can perform Wireshark. Using Wireshark, we can inspect the packet and what things are going over there. Is some sensitive information going? Is my password going? Plain text and all those things I can see. And we can look for some weak encryptions or some plain text transcription of sensitive information. Again, when I talk about web interface, you can use tools like Burpsuite to check some web page vulnerabilities if there's some kind of cross-site scripting happening over there, or some cross-site repository or some OS injection over there. So I can use, so web interface and network I'm not going to that, because there are a lot of people who can talk about it more better. And again, this is something which recently, just last week or last 2 weeks, things happened. So you all might be knowing about threat modeling, right? So when you go into corporate or some research thing, threat modeling is very important, right? We might be using Stride, Past, and different threat models we have. So this is something which is officially launched by Mindtree. And they have launched the embed threat model. So the threat modeling for embedded devices. So here we can see our embedded devices over there. We can identify different areas over there. And if you input proper input to this, it is going to give you different threat IDs for networking, hardware, system level, application, software level. So this is again a very good research. If you want, if you have your own embedded device, you can create a own threat model, and you can even publish your own conference paper on it, right? So that is something very amazing. So conclusion, coming to the conclusion. So what's the thing? What I can do next? Okay. So you all, there were many bug hunters, right? Here. So you might have gone on HackerOne and everything. So HackerOne is also supporting IoT security nowadays. So there are different companies who are going to provide you some. There are some categories where you can put asset as hardware, and you can see there are different companies who are providing hardware bounties as well. So if you get some UART bypass, you can report it to the vendor, you will get bounty for it. If you can bypass the RTP, you will get a bounty for it. If you can dump the firmware, you will get a bounty for it, and you have to just report it to the vendor. So again, HackerOne is also supporting this. And just be safe and make the world safer place. And take slide number 3 very seriously. It was a warning place, right? And there are some very good Telegram groups which you can join. So there is one IoT Security 101 group. This is a very famous group, and Mr. IoT, you might know, he's a very good person. He's also he's the one who made the group. Now it's a very big community over there. And another is IoT security group, again on the same level. Done. And these are some good references to read. So some books if you want to start reading on that. So practical IoT hacking. This one book is very good. Again the IoT hacker handbook. And this is what I recently added, the hardware hacking handbook. So this has entire hardware hacking things which you all learn and more depth. It's at more depth with it. And as I said, Arun Mane. So he is also included in this book as an so his chapter is also over there. Just recently added. And you can always follow the Payatu blogs. So Payatu is given an entire blog. How can you come into IoT security and all those things. And these are some amazing researchers which you can follow. So I talked about RDP bypass, right? So when we talked about it, theoretically it looked very easy, right? But in real it is very complex. So in India, the only person like I know has done it is Shakir. So he was in Payatu, now he's in FDD. So you can follow him and you can even ask him doubts, whatever you want. Then again I talked about Arun Mane, whose book it is, and IoT, Visual IoT. Obviously you can follow him. Right? So thank you, and yeah, you can just for a feedback you can take this. You want to provide some feedback for the talk.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
With respect to hardware trojans, how do you detect them? Because even if you open up a PCB, suddenly you can trace out every router. So what is the mitigation?
So the process over there is like we see in hardware trojan we cannot device open each and every device. Okay, so not each and every device is going to be infected, right? So it's like practically impossible that I'm going to open this device and if it is infected by hardware trojan, the next is also going to be infected, right? So the only thing here over is side chain analysis. That is again one solution over which if there's a for example, let's say there are two devices. Okay, one is infected and another is not infected. So the not infected one is going to have a power consumption say like let's say X. Okay, but the infected one is going to have some power consumption X plus Z. So that is how we can differentiate if that is working something around something fishy over there. So that is one technique over there, and there are multiple techniques like image processing techniques are also there which we can look at the ICs. So they file the IC, they open the IC and they use microscope to look at if there is some differentiation happening over there. So that is again which very few companies or researchers do, but that again is a solution. But the side chain analysis one is something which can be worked upon, and I have also worked on that.
One last question. Is there any open source platform where we can share our schematics for hardware?
Yeah, so when you open some device now, so you might be seeing if you have some device, so there is always going to be FCC ID number behind it. Okay, so you can search that FCC ID on a website. So you just FCC ID, Google FCC ID, and if you are lucky that you can get the entire schematic without even breaking the device, you can see the internal structure of the device. Yeah, so that is something you can do over there, and there are different. You just have to Google if some researcher might have shared, then you can see that schematics.
Thank you. No other question?
Any resources for car hacking?
So yeah, you can follow the Payatu blogs as well, and you can, like I said, the hardware hacking book. So just recently the EV segment has also been added into it, and there are many other resources. Like if you join the IoT Security Telegram channel, so you can find numerous resources on that. So not only for IoT, it contains EV, ICS, OT, all security resources are over there. Even I am very active over there. I also share some resources if I get some. So I think if we can make a Beach Force community as well, where we can search, make our own IoT security group or something, we can obviously do it as well. So we can share over there.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1.